what is the scriptures? What is the Bible?
Yeah, well, I think for me, a really significant shift was recognizing that it is a story, and before really anything else, it's a story of God's redemption in the world, right? And I mean, every story has a beginning, and it literally starts in the beginning. Like that's how a story starts. Yeah. And I think it's a story of how God has created a world, and this world has, by our choice, has fallen and broken. His not gone the way He's expected to, and how He is now really reorienting Himself to the world and redeeming it as a whole, and knowing that this is one connected, like it's not just random stuff. It's actually a connected story. Yeah. The Bible Project would say it's a unified story leading to Jesus, and that is, and actually it's a story that we're a part of, and that we are actually filling in as we get this. Okay, the church stops, and then we get the very end of how it's all going to work out. Like it's going to be redeemed one day, and we're in this in between. And actually, we get to live out this story. And again, that was a huge shift for me of knowing this is a story asking, how is God redeeming the world? And I think it's every story is trying to ask a question or solve a problem. And for me, understanding that it's like, God is the problem the story is solving is how is God redeeming the world? Yeah. And not how do I get to heaven or, how do I avoid hell, which is kind of how I grew up with it. Yeah. Helped me see that, this actually has daily implication in my life. And these stories are not random. Each story is fitting into a bigger story and helping play that part. Yeah. Yeah. Which
if I had a whiteboard, I think what we're trying to say is it's not bad to look at a single story and then say, what can I learn from this? Right. That's not horrible. It's not evil. It's not sinful. Right. So I can look at Jonah and the big fish and know, hey, when God calls me to something, even if it's difficult, I may not understand, I may not agree with it, but I have to trust He is sovereign, He is good, He has a plan, and that I can be obedient. And even if I'm not obedient, that there's still redemption in that. I can draw things from that. But what maybe we've missed is, instead of placing ourselves in each individual story, where are we in the whole timeline of the narrative of God's story? Yeah. And understanding that.
Connecting rhythms and themes and seeing that, this is a consistent theme throughout Scripture, and connecting that this is how it's continuing to evolve throughout Scripture. And then when Jesus comes, this is how it's actually implemented now for us in the church. And it's I think a more holistic approach.
Yeah. So again, instead of myself in each story, it would be the scriptures from Genesis to Revelation. If we did this timeline, where are we in that timeline? And what role does God allow us or introduce us or invite us into in light of Him restoring all things, redeeming all things, ultimately building this beautiful garden, this beautiful world where we live in.
And then we're actually a part of it. We actually get to live out the story now. Yeah. It's not just an ancient, it is an old text, but it's not just an ancient text. It's actually helping us, we're actually a part of it. It's our story too. Even if we're not actually ethnically Jewish, we still get to live out the story now through Jesus. That's good.